Alright, welcome back to another Overwatch stream. Today we're going to be playing Brookdale. Super excited, Brookdale Community College. Um, same lineup and everything we did win our game last week, and I believe that puts DSC, is it 4-0 or 3-0?
Yeah, we're 4-0,
4-0,
and so is
okay.
Brookdale. So we're
Yes.
hoping to have a good game today against some good competition.
hmm Definitely. And we're running the same, everyone on the same roles and everything. Nostalgia still on that tank role. And I'm excited to see them play against Brookdale because they are 4-0 right now. And I know last week there might have been a little bit of a skill difference, you know?
Yeah,
And
no,
so,
last game was considerably one-sided in terms of us destroying them, but I'm sure that Brookdale is going to put up a good fight. I think we've played against them, if I'm not mistaken. It sounds like a familiar name, so I think we are in for a good game, like I said.
yeah, I feel like I've heard the name before, definitely. I don't know exactly where, but something is telling me that we have played against them before. So I'm excited to see them play. And then I feel like I want to tune in more when I'm watching today on perk usage and everything because I feel like with it being so new, it's kind of hard to stay up to speed on who is activating what perk until you see it in action. So,
Yeah, for sure. Like last time we saw Admiral switching between his Pharah perks and um, the rest of the team was figuring out their perks as well. But like the perks recently, it seems like at the highest level, at least last time, weren't too impactful. Like they made a difference in terms of like their individual like specific use cases in the game, but like in terms of the actual outcome last week, we didn't really get to see it really affect any of that.
yeah. So, I'm excited to kind of watch more of that this week. I know the DSC team has been practicing, staying up to date, staying current, and I know everybody's been like working to improve and all like that. So, I think it's really nice to see everyone like kind of honing in on their abilities and with the changing meta and everything, Overwatch is always fluctuating and the best comp is always changing. So it's been nice to see DSC running some less traditional comps.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Malga, which is
Oh
like
yeah.
hard meta right now, like we saw
Yeah.
last week. But with the perks, I think that they definitely have some more lenience with the picks in terms of what is working on which map and stuff. Because I'm sure Nostalgia can play basically anything on the tank lineup. I'd be
Yeah.
excited to see if we get some non-Malga gameplay, but we might see it on here on Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, it looks like first game is going to be starting on, I assume, Antarctic Peninsula, but currently just waiting for everyone to connect. It looks like one player might be having some kind of connection issue, but hopefully we can get that resolved quickly. But I know last week you and I did have the chance to play with some of the DSC players, and although it was casual, it was pretty fun, and I think it was nice. It gave me more insight playing with them to understand how they work together and communicate and everything.
Yeah, for sure. And we got to play in actual comp matches, so it wasn't like a complete, casual, just like we're not even paying attention match. Like we were kind of locked in. I think we were
A
winning a
little
lot. If I
locking in,
remember correctly, we were winning a lot. We were winning a lot. So I
from
think
what I
we got
recall.
good experience. And scrimming them with back last season, I definitely learned a lot. So yeah,
Mhm.
no, we should definitely do that more because they're definitely knowledgeable in terms of like just the game in general. Like you'll see them do something that you wouldn't have even thought of, and it's so easy to use that to just win games. But sometimes you got to have like thousands of hours to really find out what strategy is going to be best.
Yeah, I feel like not only the hours, but like watching different players and how they all like their own take on the same character. Because, of course, there's like the foundational things to some characters that you have to know, but then like you have to put your own spin on everyone and have your own main and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like that kind of thing, like the more people I play with, the more little here and there I pick up, like, oh, I like that this person does this, or I like that. So I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like,
like play style differences, and with the perks, I think that leans in heavy with that sort of individual play style, like I was talking about last week a lot. Like you see someone play a character completely differently than someone else, and they might both be, high-ranking players, but they just simply go about it completely different. Whether it's they choose opposite perks, they're doing different angles. It's nice seeing that Overwatch is implementing ways for people to have more individuality with their heroes.
Yeah, definitely. It's cool seeing, like you said, using the perks. That definitely makes it a lot easier to individualize your play style. And there's perks that like it was pretty fast. I feel like how quickly people determine like which perks were like the good perks, and there are like the more commonly picked perks, but you can pick the uncommon ones and do a little something something with them if that's the kind of player you are, because there's always someone who's going to play one character completely different, but they make it work.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of those perks that are underrated in most use cases have their niche uses. So you see, especially like smarter players using that to their advantage. And especially if someone's not paying attention to like the start of a round where you don't really get to see the perks, you could surprise them with, some sort of flank or, team attack using the perks that they weren't really expecting.
Definitely, like we saw Admiral with the moving barrage,
Yeah.
the surprise attack. It felt like, because I think you and I were both we both commented on how he didn't have that perk activated at first, and I think he like activated it just for the ult, like got the ult, activated the perk, and then ult, and it's like a little surprise attack.
Yeah, I've noticed on some heroes it really seems like you get your first perk and you get your ult very similarly speed. I mean, of course, the eliminations matter because if you kill someone with like high perk points, then you can steal some of that. But in terms of just like raw like damage to perk, it seems like a lot of times you get your first perk when you get your ult. At least what I've noticed playing like Sojourn and stuff. Because I'll be about to pop it, and then I'm like, oh wait, I just got my perk. Let me
Yeah.
get 150 charge on overclock, and then you make a play based off the perk. And I'm sure that's intentional, deep down somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere the devs were cooking that up, like aligning the perk bank with the alt bank as well. But like you said, it does work out because I feel like activating a perk can completely change like how you were gonna go about a play, and that just adds to like the adaptability and flexibility of Overwatch, because like Overwatch already had so much like fluidity as for like maps and characters, comps, and adding in the perks, I just feel like just like added more to that, made it a more complex game, but also like gave people more creativity, like you're saying. So I like that you can choose a perk and like make a play off that.
Yeah, I feel like they implemented it hard enough where everyone has to, learn it and deal with it, but also it's not too game changing where people are just going to outright hate it because it's new. I feel like it was forced upon us, but most people were accepting of it, and at this point, everyone is kind of, happy with it, at least neutral with it. I mean, some people, of course, like probably quit the game, but that's
Hmm.
like a very small minority compared to what people were initially saying. So I think that the further they implement the perks, the further they're gonna be able to allow for players to have the individuality, like I was talking about earlier.
Hmm. Definitely. And oh,
It
okay,
looks like
looks
we
like
are finally getting into the Arctic Peninsula game. Luckily, um, I would not be surprised if we do see Mauga here, but I guess we will see.
definitely maybe a Maka comp.
Oh, I saw Anakin picking Ramattra, it seemed like an admiral on the venture just for a millisecond.
Yeah, just for a Milla moment.
Always interested to see their thought process behind some of this. They'll switch between a few different heroes, and maybe you'll see that turn into one of their counter swaps later on. So you can kind of see it what someone's thinking about a map before they even pick their hero.
Definitely, and I feel like these like Koth maps really provide such like a good foundation as to like how the game is gonna go. Koth can go like it can go a lot of different ways, but I feel like a lot of times it's either like 99 to 99 or like 0 to 99.
Yeah, no, 100%, because that retake is so difficult. In a lot of cases, you see someone have to wait until basically the end of the game to have that clutch moment, whether the enemy team slips up or they finally clutch up. You do see that a lot. And we do have Nostalgia on the Mauga as predicted, which is going to be pretty difficult for Anakin to get around just in the straight tank 1v1 in the vacuum. So we'll see how this goes.
It looks like on Brookdale here, they're running down Contra.
Oh, huge pressure from
Yes,
Brookdale,
a lot
though.
of pressure, and they're going to speed in on that, kind of try to solidify those kills. It looks like Opposite is really clicking heads.
Yeah, no, he was clicking heads, and
yeah.
the problem there was Nostalgia was stuck shooting that shield, which does not give him any of the cardiac arrest regeneration. So there was no life steal he could have got, and then, you know, all 5 of them behind the shield just straight melting him. The Mei slowing him down. It was just too much.
Definitely. Looks like DSC is coming back and just kind of like waiting for the 5 regroup position as one. But we do see that Brookdale already halfway to holding this corner here.
That was a good corner to hold.
And yes,
Forced out Nostalgia to make a decision.
And they got that cleanse out super early there. Nostalgia already a little bit low. We see Opposite up here just
Wow.
this off
Yeah, he got split from the supports.
Trying to get a little exit pick. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, without that initial momentum, it's gonna be hard to push in like this.
Staggering happening here, which is really hard to recover from when it comes to cost, you know. Like DSC is just gonna wait to regroup as 5, but Brookdale is already, or they're still holding this high ground in this angle. It looks like he's gonna take the same angle again to try to cut off.
That was 100% a good. See, this is
And this main
how
wall
he plays around
strat
this
too
team
is
comp.
really good for
Absolutely
him.
melting this Mauga, and that is a good cleanse, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to live this if they keep up that pressure.
Definitely, they get first pick there on Dawn
Second
and
pick.
Nostalgia.
Wow. Yeah, that little corner the Ramatra is hiding in is a beautiful angle because it forces the Mauga to have to walk out in order to contest him, and none of his team can see the Ramatra, so it's a one-on-one tank matchup.
And
The Mei just walls him off and it's over.
Yeah, Philo is definitely coming through with those walls to cut Nostalgia off from the rest of the team, which is really, I feel like, giving the advantage to Brookdale. Looks like they're going to go straight to the point this time. DSC is walking in with, oh, and a high noon from Opposite is going to get that first pick.
Massive kill on Akira, and it looks like Nostalgia's probably going to die here.
We see lots of ults coming out for that last fight here. Everybody trying to stay alive.
Yeah, just amazing momentum from Brookdale there. Wasn't much they could do in terms of retaking once they kind of, you know, lost that momentum, it seemed like. And that was definitely, it was an interesting strategy seeing the tank hold the high ground so heavily, and it just proves that even if you're not playing on point, especially against like a Mauga, you're forcing out him to make that decision, and they just couldn't really get around pushing up there, seems like.
It seems like Brookdale is working really well as a team, and that strat too, DSC did kind of continue to walk into it more than once, so I feel like maybe a little bit more adaptability from DSC could have helped there. But with Koth, it's so fast, like you don't really have time to, you know, get too creative. Looks like they're going to switch it up to the ball last second.
Honestly, not a bad pick against this comp. Not really much in terms of CC. Philo getting just picked out immediately. Admiral playing no games, as well as that ball boot, putting in work.
It's going to give Daytona State the advantage there to really continue to push forward as they are up.
And I feel like that ball swap could have been useful last round, to be honest. With more mobility, I think pushing through that choke wouldn't have really been an issue, and it would have forced Brookdale to sort of turn around and lose some momentum. Philo again really low, but able to get the health pack. Opposite also low. Ooh, big move from Nostalgia.
Yes, it's going to keep Daytona State up.
The Ramatra is getting pressured out here. It looks like DSC is having more success with the angles currently on the tank.
Definitely
You
Nostalgia.
see Kuna getting a pick as well.
And Nostalgia is putting in work, staying on the point, making sure that they don't have.
Yeah, that was a very good job. They didn't get point first. However, oh wait, yes they did. But with a more mobile comp.
And Philo gets staggered out, which is going to be, oh, a little arts and crafts over here. We see Philo getting taken out super late in the fight, which is going to stagger them as well.
This more mobile comp though is doing them absolute wonders. And I know Philo's thinking that too, the way they've swapped the Sombra.
Definitely. That Sombra pick kind of compounded the ball here because it seems like ball really is putting a lot of work for them.
That's good though, getting someone to swap and
Kuna on
make
this little
decisions
flanking
is...
angle too is pitching them as well.
Yeah, Kuna in the backline, usual.
Sombra going for the pick, but Dawn absolutely steals. Looks like Brookdale is trying to push to point, and they are actually securing, but Daytona State is going to kind of continue this way.
Anakin's putting good pressure here, but it just seems like his team is getting poked out, and there's not much he can do after the fight.
Mine's out from Nostalgia is going to kind of hold down the point, able to get a pick there, and Dawn just cleaning up.
100%, 80% here. They're going to have to make a big push.
Yes, that definitely has helped them, but they, Brookdale have some ults to go in with. They have Beat and Mantra.
Oh yeah, we're about to see some ults, certainly.
Certainly.
Ooh, Hero possibly getting stuck out.
Get this pick off early.
Dawn with some good heals. Philon opposite getting taken out. I think the ults on the side of DC are doing just God's work, and that beat is almost saving the game for them.
Mantra trying to persist, but
Huge cancellation.
Huge first pick.
Absolutely huge. I'm not sure if that Juno ult would have actually saved them, but man, that is a good highlight.
Definitely. Nostalgia's pick there was really good. And that cleanse from Dawn, honestly, was like really the MVP cleanse of that last round.
Oh yeah, it didn't even allow them to get a single pick in the last fight. Just stealing away what they put all the resources into on that Lucio.
And if Hero would have got picked off there, we could have seen a retake moment possibly from Brookdale. But that cleanse and getting Hero out was really good for them to keep the point.
It's definitely possible, but their momentum was very heavy at the moment. Like even with the Juno ult, even with the beat, it didn't really seem like they had much they could have done.
And it looks like Brookdale is going to make some swaps here. They are going to switch to Sim and mirror this ball here. So
matching the ball is interesting.
Definitely, and we see both balls kind of speeding out to get to the point first.
Ball's a bit of a sleeper pick here in this later season. I mean, I say sleeper pick because most people don't even bother playing him since he's so hard to play, but...
sure, and we see an early pick here from Kuna and Nostalgia that's going to give the advantage again.
Big work in the backline. I mean, this is going to be backline v backline. And
definitely.
I would say DSC has a slight advantage with the Kiriko, but we'll see. Ooh, but with the Brig now, might be a little more even. It's going to be harder to dive, certainly.
For sure. And we see in Brookdale, they're kind of just regrouping here. The ball might be doing a little bit of flank action, try to start poking, start building that up.
Admiral's wise to it, though.
Yes. Admiral's not letting any funny business happen on his watch. Looks like Nostalgia's going to pressure that ball and push in. They're kind of just holding down all points right now, waiting to see where Brookdale is going to fully push back. They're just pushing right now.
Dawn just almost getting taken out there, but
Admiral gets taken out, but Kuna returns the picks, and they're still up.
Still 4v4 here. Big slam, big slam.
Philo gets a pick on Dawn. That's going to be really good for Brookdale, but it's just going both ways.
Going
oh my
one
god.
for one, one for one.
One for one, for real. Eye for an eye. It is just down to
one ball, one DPS, both team.
One DPS, yes. But Daytona State is going to hold that down. Looks like Brookdale does have to retreat a little because their team, Daytona State's team, is already coming back.
Yeah, that Kiriko TP really did good in that 2v2 there. Sato maybe looking for mines here soon, but if they're just up one, I mean, why even use it?
Definitely. A really big slam here from Brookdale. Had
yeah, forced out the Lucio amp, but there's not much they can do when the team's down this much. Wow.
Definitely, and Nostalgia just getting that pick off on Tabs is going to be harder, make it a lot harder for Brookdale to push.
Yeah, Juno is...
left. They have to make a decision soon. Brookdale able to get that pick, but they could not make it through with that. And a little protective mines of just...
Mines for security.
Secure, yes, but...
Forcing out the recall already. Echo getting just directed. I mean, not even landing on the ground before getting taken out.
Brookdale survivors here trying to really push it in.
Philo tried. He got that good beam pick, but the momentum once again is just too great on the side of DSC. It seems like, oh, no.
Really long stall, but it is not enough for Brookdale. Looks like Brookdale and Daytona State now are even, and I feel watching this that it's been, or excuse me, they're not even. Daytona, a little win for Daytona State, but it was really close there for a while. I feel like with the ball pick too, it made it even closer because the first two rounds, were like kind of a hard win for both. But then when we got to that last map and both teams made those swaps, I feel like it got really close there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think that the percentage didn't necessarily show how close it was in the actual team fights. But DSC did an amazing job with those off angles. I think they just showed that they were a little more suited for the latter two maps of Antarctica.
Definitely, and we did see really good plays from Brookdale on that first map and continued to the last two as well. I feel like it was more about adaptability and making changes because once Daytona State did switch onto that ball and that worked for them, then Brookdale, had to make swaps on the next game. But I really liked the strat with the Ramacha May on the first Antarctica map. I feel like that was really obviously like useful for them, and they were able to take that. We saw really good shots from opposite too. I feel like he's on my radar now. Like I seen the clicking heads.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure. I think that the DPS on the high ground was a major factor in that fight, and I think using that technique where you're sitting in the corner and using the Maywall, it's like you're making them either decide, okay, we have to play this game where we're forcing the wall or we're forcing Ramatra out or whatever in this little doorway, or we're just rushing point. But if you rush point, then you're essentially giving them high ground. So it's kind of a win-win where if you get in that situation, you can make them, you force a decision upon them in that situation. And we saw Brookdale do amazing, um, even against Mauga, like I said, being a
yeah,
bad matchup for the Ramatra. He never even got a chance to exploit what Ramatra's weakness is. In that 1v1 when he has no cooldown, no shield to mitigate, we didn't get to see that because he would just shield off Mauga and he would just be on the back foot from the start.
yeah, definitely. And we know that Mauka is kind of Daytona State's strong suit there. So for them to be able to counter Mauka the way they did on the first map, that was definitely, you could tell that they had practiced, and they work really well as a team and they move kind of as one. So it seems like Brookdale has really good like unity in that sense. Um, but I feel like the ball pick later on, maybe that wasn't their strong suit because I feel like you said, ball is that like sleeper hero where it's like it works when it works, but like how often are you scrimming ball?
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's just dependent on like who you're diving and your team plays as well. I mean, they had some success, but it seemed like the backline of DSC just wasn't as exploitable as that Juno specifically. It seemed like Juno was getting dove a lot, and even with the Briggs swap, it didn't really seem like Ball was getting shut down in the sense that Brookdale needed him to be. So yeah, maybe they could have used I don't know what's a good hero other than Roadhog against Ball.
Well, they did swap to Sombra at some point,
Yeah, they
did
swapped
they?
Sombra for
So
that half, but it just didn't seem like they were really
yeah,
utilizing it in the way that you'd
I
think.
I feel like there wasn't many memorable Sombra plays, but at the same time, it could have been like at the fall of myself, not like spectating around. But I think they did do like Brookdale did do good with the counter swaps and everything, and doing their best to like counter ball, choosing the ball counters, choosing Sombra, choosing Brig. But in the end, it was kind of more of like a skill ability. I feel like with
Yeah,
Daytona State,
I think
maybe.
that the tracking of Sombra was also part of it. It seemed like she was just getting shut down by the DPS on DSC's side too.
Yeah, maybe I think it might have been like a maybe nostalgia is more well versed in ball, but it could have also just been the game mode, you know, like Koth isn't everybody's strong suit. But we're moving on to my favorite game mode ever
Seems like we
on my
see it every
favorite
week.
map.
Every week we see it.
I'm so excited when I see King's Row come up on my screen. It's just a pleasure.
And it looks like we will be seeing Brookdale on Malga for a change, and here Nostalgia is on somehow an even more broken hero.
Yes, looks like Nostalgia's gonna be going with Hazard, which is one of those characters that I feel
I
like.
just like forget he's even
Yeah,
real.
I feel like he just kind of came into Overwatch and like no one really mentioned it. Like, oh, okay, here's a new character, and everyone just kind of started playing him like he was part of Overwatch since the beta. I don't know.
It seems like everyone agrees he's just broken, but like no one actually cares. I don't know. It's interesting with all the new tanks. For some reason, they feel so weird when they first come in.
Definitely. We see Nostalgia coming right out of spawn on this high ground here. It looks like Malka is holding a little farther back than some. Nostalgia's going to continue to just jump around this backline, taking the off angle from Daytona State and trying to pinch Brookdale here with some people staying main and Nostalgia
Amazing
staying on the
wall.
high ground. Huge wall to try to isolate that. Malka.
Yeah, using that high ground angle was immediately going to give them some success, forcing out
Yes, people are kind
backline
of
back into that corridor.
thinking a little bit back here. Hotel. It looks like Brookdale's Junkrat. Admiral's going to get a pick on that tank, and Brookdale is going to try to kite here while Daytona State caps.
I can at least appreciate that both teams chose Junkrat here.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not sure how meta that is, but
And we see Malka just pushing up early here. Dicks are looking to kind of start building that ult up for the next fight, while Hazard versus Nostalgia is taking the high ground. Looks like Malka is really pushing into the back line here while Nostalgia is on a little bit of lead, but starting to kind of come back
ooh,
get a big pick on Admiral there, which is
that
going
block is just a saving grace of Hazard, it seems like, at the end of every fight.
definitely.
This is a classic King's Row hold here after claiming that first point. Looks like DPS might need to get a pick in the backline from the high ground, or maybe an ult needs to come out here.
Absolutely, and we see with both Junkrats here, this area is going to be challenging to hold. We see a Nano out early, and
Nostalgia
Tina is
dying
going to
for it, though.
push up with Nano.
The Nano Junkrat did not seem like it was paying off, but Anakin was, for a moment there, stuck in. I know Admiral is looking for this barrage heavily, but I don't think he needs it.
A tire did come out, and Don was able to get that final blow on Anakin. Stay able to push up. Caught out in a little corner here. Looks like Remix was cornered a bit.
Did Anakin use his cage? I did not see him use his cage. Did that get canceled or something?
I actually could have been. I wasn't sure. I didn't see what happened.
If you didn't, I mean, if neither of us heard it, I feel like that has to have been that it got canceled, because we would have at least heard it and seen it.
Definitely.
Giant shield.
Yes, Hazard is going to have an early all out.
Wow.
I was just about to say that to try to solidify the push.
Big value from that.
Multiple ults used here.
Looks like Nostalgia's going to swap here.
Definitely, and we see Kuna push up here, trying to just look for some staggers.
Maybe not. That was weird for a moment. Looked like Nostalgia's going back to spawn, but.
I thought so too.
And here Anakin is on the Hazard as well, so we're going to see a true skill-based matchup. Huge dynamite there on the Ana, I saw that. Definitely going to be going for the backline here.
But another Nano from Daytona State. And Remix is going to look for this tire here and gets one value out of that.
I'm not sure what Admiral is doing there, but they still have 4 minutes, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were just looking to reset.
Yeah, it looks like Brookdale is going to win that fight, but like you said, they do have 4 minutes here, so it's not much of a concern. Brookdale is, buying themselves some time.
Nostalgia's making sure the focus is on him. Bob coming out here. Remix getting taken out.
Remix, yes.
Seems like they were able to mitigate that Bob well.
Definitely. Daytona State's going to push up the Hazard v Hazard. A really good wall here, kind of singling him out supports, but he's able to just the dash.
Wow, coming back from that, this is a huge tank support 1v1.
Definitely. Lots
Remix
of pressure,
going for play, but getting annihilated for his efforts.
We see they're honest.
Kuna
right?
going for a beautiful 1-2
goodness.
on the Junkrat. You'd love to see that. And
a
going
third.
for, yeah.
Make it 3.
Oh, please make it 3.
And Anakin's all not getting
Going for a
really
bit of a
but
desperate ult, but Kuna nearly dying for it.
Nostalgia still fighting on the point here. Getting Anakin's going to be challenging the cap, but a really good beat out is going to give Daytona State the ultimate.
With some very good time. 254 is very good for Kings Row.
Definitely. We saw really good shots there. Kuna with that little last minute flank, I feel like, was really good for Daytona State.
Yeah, you could see his focus, the way he was dialing in as he dropped down. He measured, and he knew she was going to go up in the air like that, so he hit that second shot just flawlessly. And I'm surprised that Ash didn't pick up on that, because she was still scoped in on the back line and got 2-tapped, unfortunately.
Definitely, she was lost in the sauce a little bit in the zone, but, you know, looking for a pick on both sides. Maybe it was a little bit more challenging too. Sometimes when you're scoped in, it's you and the scope. It looks like Daytona State is going to remain on Hazard, but Brookdale is going to make a swap to Ramacho, which we saw was really successful for them on map 1, round 1. So maybe it will be a little bit easier. Maybe this is more of a comfort pick, but they also are attacking this time.
Yeah, it seemed like Anakin's strong side was mitigating that tank sort of uptime and being able to shield off that Mauga. And I'm not sure how it's going to go with the Hazard pick here since he's so mobile. But I guess we're going to see, because on Kings Row first, you know, it's common to see the tank being focused, but not sure how they're going to do that.
Daytona State is going to hold this corner a little tighter than Brookdale had originally held. But it looks like Nostalgia does have to back a little bit because the pressure is getting low. Really good wall to cut off the Ramacho here, and a sleep and anti on him. But we see
Mortality field coming out here too.
Yes, use all their resources for him.
Anakin's still pushing up despite losing that, so have to be decisive here. Nostalgia very, very low.
Very low, might get picked off.
Utilizing that shield well.
Anakin just really pushing through the team, making space for his team. And Nostalgia did get picked off, so the back line is pretty much unprotected right now.
Yeah, DSC losing the point early. I think that the swaps were very beneficial, and Mercy coming up on her ult already. I saw that going from 60 to 85 within seconds, 90 now.
She's putting that work in.
Absolutely putting that work in.
And we see a swap from Nostalgia back to Mauga. Again, it might be just a comfort pick or most practice pick here. Going back to the old reliable.
I mean, like I said, I feel like Mauga is good against Ramatra, but you know,
the trap on the cart. In this corner, this tunnel is going to be kind of hard to hold. We do see up here a little off angling happening with a trap in the corner, trying to get a couple early perhaps. And looks like Brookdale's able to make it through that troublesome area.
Nano is coming out here. Anakin getting slammed, dropping the block for a second. Down to 100 HP, losing his form. Oh, he's certainly dead.
Definitely, and here comes a tire.
Super necessary tire in the spawn.
Oh yes, that's going to get railgunned anyway. Looks like Brookdale is just kind of regrouping here. Coming back, and Daytona State is going to push up to take space here. It is really hard to get through this tunnel, so Daytona State wants to kind of have ownership of that.
This is a very beneficial sort of corridor for Mauga here. I know Ramatra's going to look to use his ult here, but if he's not decisive, Nostalgia's going to farm this ult 10% left. So this is...
Looks like he's getting low
know he's thinking about it, but at this point,
is it even worth it?
oh, I don't even think that he's going to get value out of it at this point, unfortunately.
Looks like there's no value in Is Mercy. Oh, she's able to get out. Oh no!
Wow, some good movement, but unfortunately Nostalgia has very good tracking as well.
Definitely.
Now, DSC is just up in terms of what they're doing right now. I mean, they have the tank ult, they have the Juno ult, they're coming up on the Nano.
Definitely,
And
but
in terms of Brookdale's momentum, none of those are even close to being up, so they're going to have to burn this time.
Remix is going to be harder for Brookdale. They're going to have to wait even longer to recruit as one.
Kuna going for a very sneaky angle right here.
And a pick on opposite as well. It's just making it harder for Brookdale. They have to wait to push this 5, you know? And Kuna, we see
Currently emoting in spawn, waiting for Brookdale to exit. Definitely looking for the mine combo here. Doesn't seem like Brookdale's going to fall for it, but he's going to take matters into his own hands. Wow.
Daytona State definitely with those little solo picks are
amazing pressure on this second point of King's Row. I mean, as soon as they move to this spawn, it's just like they're playing these angles very, very well.
Definitely. Looks like everyone is getting taken out, virtually out, coming out of spawn.
Everyone at Daytona State living on 1 HP too. I know that's got to be heartbreaking.
Yes, definitely. Brookdale kind of...
Someone is still flanking. Is that Kuna? The big Nano.
Nano Junkrat out to try to...
That Sojourn slide saving her life. And
definitely Sojourn is taking their life here.
surprisingly, no direct kills from the Nano Junkrat, but so much pressure that the whole team still is taken out. And Nostalgia and Hero still holding on to those ults. It's going to be tough.
Seems like Nostalgia will likely use that ult in a last minute type of scenario, as time isn't too low yet, but... Oh, Sojourn taken out by that tire from Kuna.
Nostalgia finally forced to use his cage though. Interesting run into the backline, but Kuna and Dawn are just going in.
Yes. Admiral coming back to spawn here. Looks like Kuna is just still holding up very forward, trying to get as many picks as possible.
Continuing to assert Junkrat dominance with those direct hits. I mean, it's not easy. Absolutely dominating those stairs.
Admiral gets taken out, but he does take out their Ana. They're even right now. This might be Brookdale's chance. We see Paige might come out here. And able to take out Kira and
oh,
Paige, but
I don't think he knew that. I don't think he knew that Algo was there.
yes, unlikely. Looks like Brookdale does have 30 seconds left, but Nostalgia is taken out, and Brookdale has won the fight, finally able to move up. We could see this go one of two ways. It doesn't look like either team really has many ults to go off of. We do see Juno from Brookdale with an orbit that might help in Ana pretty close to Nano as well.
Yeah, it's the classic overtime push when you've been getting spawn held the whole game, and now suddenly you can push the card.
Definitely. I think it'll be a matter of
big
who
anti.
gets ults first. Yeah, huge anti. And we see Juno is going to be using that.
Remix getting his revenge though, taking out Juno.
Definitely. Brookdale is up right now.
Oh, but Nostalgia getting that Nano. That team could have done something, but it's just so tanky.
Sure.
Oh, but the counter Nano is going to win them that. I think they're just going to cap this.
Yeah, it looks like they are going, after being spawn held for so long, it looks like they are going to cap this. Classic Overwatch, you know, it can go either way. It is never over till
I mean,
it's
very
over.
minimal time remaining, but still a glimmer of hope for Brookdale here on King's Row.
And it looks like Brookdale as well is coming up on a couple of ults. But we do know Tyre is coming up on the Tyre, which could be big.
Unfortunately,
And here we see Tyre coming out after
borderline last two fights.
We're going to go all the way back, but it gets taken out again.
Just 60 seconds remaining.
Remix being staggered there, but does have Tire to come back with. Daytona State is going to hold as forward as possible. They don't want to give it into Brookdale, but Brookdale is coming back with a Tire that does have a lot of potential. And we see Cage as well that Brookdale has ready to go.
Though Admiral and Hira are coming up on their ults as well, and Nostalgia's not too far off. Kuna with a beautiful pick on the Juno, but getting taken out.
Forced to, oh my goodness,
That's going to be
hard for them.
super detrimental with 20 seconds left. They are looking to regroup and make a play with this Cage, certainly. Remix might be picked out here, though,
oh my gosh,
thinking he was safe. But Dawn also getting taken out. This is an even fight here, and both Maugas are going to have Cage for this last fight.
Definitely, and
Big barrage taking out
both Cage
opposite.
fights are out right now. It is a 1v1. Daytona State is currently up right now.
Oh, but that Juno
barrage.
is going to make a...
But Remix gets a 2K Tire. Can the Juno touch here?
Juno has touched
Juno
point.
is touching the point. She's moving the cart. Brookdale might have the opportunity to come back, and they are coming back too with a Sojourn ult. As long as Remix can stay touching that cart and wait for Mauga to come back. Mauga is on his way. Brookdale does have a chance still.
Opposite looking for a play here on Sojourn, getting taken
and
out.
Kuna does get a pick on opposite, but we do see that Anakin is back.
Big
Admiral
picks
is
from the
taking
side of
out
Daytona State. Looks
Brookdale.
like Brookdale's going to be fallen here. Unfortunately, despite their amazing efforts to
Definitely.
push through that, you know, seemingly unwinnable second point, I unfortunately cannot make it through the third.
Definitely a
Admiral,
really
this might be the
close
end.
game.
This might be the end of the game where he was hitting all the shots. Oh yeah, here it
Looks
is.
like it, yes.
I saw that kill feed.
Yes, Admiral with this game-winning flank, I want to say, that was so good for
That
Daytona
melee
State.
would have been beautiful too. Wow. Good second game from
Yeah.
Daytona State.
That
Amazing second
honestly,
game.
very interesting game to watch. And despite Brookdale being held in spawn for so long, I almost feel like it was a map disadvantage. Like that area is just so hard to like come out of. But once you're out, you know? And it was definitely thrilling in that last fight to see them start pushing the card again. You know, Juno able to touch and get that overtime. Really, really good plays from opposite. And we saw good tires from Remix as well. And that like Kuna Remix, Junk v Junk.
Yeah, I'm
stuff that was
surprised we
going
didn't
on.
see like a swap to Diva maybe after he'd used Cage and they're held in spawn. I mean, I know they probably didn't know Kuna was literally standing above them, but if he went Diva and just flew high ground, I mean, he could at minimum just hold right click and make him do 0 damage. So, you know, there's options I think they could have taken, but you know, they decided to just hold on to the Mauga pick and run with it, and unfortunately it did not pay off.
Yeah, definitely. But it was really cool to see the swaps, of course. And I feel like when both teams were playing their presumed comforts, that's kind of when the fight got pretty thrilling. Like I said, there are Matra v Mauga, but at the end, the Mauga v Mauga was really fun to watch as well. I feel like really good pressure from both teams, and a lot of times because they had the Mauga v Mauga, it just came down to like a backline difference, you know, and then like alt usage, of course, or positioning. But having the Mauga v Mauga and the two junks as well, I feel like that made it pretty close for most fights. It was just a matter of like who has the better backline.
Yeah, no, certainly with the Mauga v Mauga matchup, it's like a classic sort of, you know, he's so big, it's hard to just miss when you're holding left and right click. So, you know, if you're just both shooting each other and you pop your E at the same time, it's like, you know, who has the better Ana and Kiriko? That's like what the classic Mauga matchup was when he first launched, and it's still kind of like that. So, yeah, I agree, but the DPS plays, especially towards the end, were making quite a big difference in the fights.
Definitely. And we did see a lot of really good antis too. A lot of really good usage of like Ana, util and everything. Nano as well. It's kind of like, I feel like Ana is almost like the like Pokemon owner, like they just give them nano, like go, because when it's the fight between the two tanks and you have the two Annas as well, it's just like send them out and whoever can be the better backline, be the better Anna, will win. But I feel like Admiral had a lot of really good shots there and a lot of good barrages, a lot of good flanks. Of course, Kuna was flanking all the time, but I feel like Admiral really took over like the off angle role and was able to solidify the fights for some of them because that first pick or even that first damage that makes them retreat a little, gave Daytona State the advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Especially towards the end when he started abusing that little underside of the map. I
Mhm.
think he, um, has been practicing that for a long time. So I'm not surprised to see him utilize it so well at a high level.
Yeah, definitely a really good part of the map. And that's why, like I said earlier, I feel like some points were a map disadvantage because that was really going unnoticed by Brookdale, I feel like. And so Admiral was able to use that over and over and over that little area, and I feel like that was really good for Daytona State. We did see some really good plays though from Anakin as well. I feel like some flanking here and there or taking advantage of different opportunities, So I feel like there's been good plays from both and
Yeah,
that Juno touch on the last point that really came in clutch. And at first, like it was seeming like the game was over there, but I feel like if Admiral wasn't able to fly under, then maybe they would have had a better chance.
yeah, I definitely agree. I think that both of them were doing good with their cage usage. I mean, there was a couple times that it seemed like we didn't really know what happened to the cages, but I could tell, especially towards the end, they were prioritizing using that cage to try and push further.
Yeah, and when we saw too, like the two cages at once, I feel like I almost feel like when it is two cages at once and it's only the Malgas in the cage, it's kind of just like who has more health,
Yeah,
because
who
like
has more health and who's gonna get their cardiac? Because even if you're low health, if you pop your E and they don't have it, I mean, you basically win that if they don't get it up in time.
yeah, it's like who has the ability, who has more health, and when it came to a matter of that, when they did have that moment of both in a cage, I believe it was Nostalgia who ended up coming out victorious.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much lenient in terms of like the Malga matchup. You're just like shooting each other, and like maybe I'll get 12% more headshots than you. So like probably doing like a little bit more damage. But like
Yeah.
there's so much like armor mitigation, life steal that it's like you know
Yeah, I feel
there's
like
levels to this.
of course there is like aim that comes into play, but also like it's Malga, like big rectangle, so it's more like a matter of when it's Malga v Malga, like who has more health when initiating the cage and who has more, like you said, like cooldowns able.
Yeah. I failed to even remember that Malga's when you're on fire, he already crits you. So like you don't even need to hit headshots. You just literally shoot them in the body, and you're doing max damage. So it's a little brain dead, but I mean, other than the matchup with Malga v Malga, I feel like he has like a lot of interesting matchups. It's just funny how he has that sort of like inverse matchup with himself.
Yeah, definitely. And with Malga v Malga, I feel like sometimes there are some games that you watch where it can get a little slow because Malga is so tanky that it's it's really not it's just like a backline play at that point, like or not even the backline make, maybe even just the DPS because Malga's so tanky and a support can keep Malga up for forever, Um so it comes down to the DPS to start getting like picking off the back line or putting in that extra damage. But I feel like when it is Malga v Malga, like picking off the tank is never a good first you know first go to because it's you're not gonna get any momentum with the
Yeah,
fight.
for sure. For sure. If you're not using some sort of like anti or mitigation, then there's really no reason to focus Malga unless you're doing, actual strategy. You're like walling him off. mitigating the healing and stuff, Overwatch things. But in a vacuum, yeah, it doesn't really make sense to be shooting the Mauga with half his health as armor, and he can just life steal
Yeah,
anyone.
and then in the end, you just end up giving that support their support all because like if you're really just heal botting the tank, then and people are shooting the tank, then you're gonna get nano, you're gonna get what orbital, you're gonna get whatever like in an instant because it's like why are people looking so much at the tank? But I feel like I liked watching Brookdale and DSC play because we didn't see much of that, and obviously you see like with more well rehearsed and well like I don't know what the word I'm trying to say, like people who do scrim, and people who practice, like they know better than to be doing all that, so it doesn't ever seem like it gets too slow because there's always like a strat in play.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing point. I think there's at least always someone that's trying to figure out a way to get around a certain like team comp or issue if they're being held. Like everyone is pushing to do their role as best as possible, and I think the team play kind of gets into uh, that factor when they actually hit some resistance.
Yeah, and when the skill range is similar too, I feel like that's more when it comes down to strat because of course if the skill range is too far, like in theory you could play without a strat and you're still gonna win because it just comes down to like skill.
For sure,
But
it's like aim.
yeah,
Like, if you're playing against bronzes and you're masters, then it doesn't
yeah,
really matter if you've never played one of these heroes before. Like, you're just gonna shoot them and they'll probably just die because they don't know how to play.
yeah, for sure. But when we see two teams close in skill like this, because we have seen, although right now it is 204 Daytona State, we have seen Brookdale take many fights and take many rounds, so I feel like when it's close in skill like this, it's a lot more entertaining. You're more like on the edge of your seat, like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen? So
Yeah, I think I've been impressed more with the adaptability of Daytona State with that swap to the ball that we saw before, because it was like they almost couldn't get past the comp that Brookdale was running with the Mauga until they swapped the ball, and now it's like I don't know if they just changed the way that Brookdale was playing, but now that they swapped back to the Mauga, it seemed like they were having more success, and it could be
yeah,
map dependent as well. But here we are on Circuit Royale for our possibly final round if Daytona State is able to secure this. Here we are up 2-0 against Brookdale, hoping for another good game.
definitely. And I feel like with these push maps like Circuit, um, the constant need for like forward mobility makes it to where you have to be more adaptable, and of course it's a poke map as well, so we are going to see Sigma from both teams.
And I absolutely pray and hope we see Kuna jump over the right side on Junkrat. I am so ready for it.
Yes, we love to see a creative strat on maps like this. I have seen, like, I believe this is, actually no, I think I'm thinking of Eichenwald with like the Sim TP May wall over that first roof.
To show your face after what
Do you know?
happened
I don't know.
Some TP Maywall on the first roof. On first point, you're saying?
I think like when you
Or
come right out of spawn.
on the second point, I know there's that broken roof that's up there, but
maybe that's
I don't
what
know. I don't know. I've never done that.
But we see opposite on the Widow here playing more back, maybe as to not reveal themselves. Admiral is
Oh,
going
Kuna's
to-
gonna do it. Kuna's gonna do it. There's a 50% chance he just gets no picks and dies, but whether or not this actually...
Oh, didn't see it. Did not see it. Don't even worry, we are moving right along.
Don coming up with a better way to win by headshotting opposite, as his
Definitely,
DPS should
and
have.
is going to make the switch up here to do some damage and
A little bit of a goofy trap getting that Zen there.
definitely, we see Nostalgia pushed up and is able to get a pick there.
Well, I'm happy to know that I'm not the only one that's happened to. Seeing it here on a collegiate level makes me feel a little bit better about myself.
Definitely. And it looks like Daytona State
Somehow
is
just already winning first point. I mean, it's like we couldn't even talk about strategies and they've already managed to just about win
Brookdale
it,
is
but
going to come and
big mitigation from
yes,
Anakin
it's
here.
really, really big.
It's going to come down to the
there.
picks, but there we go. The pick on Anakin's going to secure them that. Beautiful time from Daytona State, and Ponto's certainly doomed here.
And
These supports are
Nostalgia is
going. This guy's going to have to run for his life. That bat better be healing him good. Yep.
Looks like
Unfortunately, could not float fast enough. Anakin here on the Mauga, going for another Mauga v Hazard matchup.
definitely. And we see Baptist pushed up. We have our
Here we're
son
going for
peacefully
some-
moving the point, dancing around the Nostalgia is still pushed up there. Might possibly go for a dual ult if needed. Getting super low, but Kuna's able
Yeah,
to
good
get
ability usage from Nostalgia here. Maybe a good ult. I'm not sure who he just targeted with that. Oh, Mauga getting just blown up by Admiral in the corridor.
They're cooking heads at the moment. And with the window out,
Absolutely
really
dusting
good
them.
window for them.
That window, though, maybe making up for it.
And forcing out Trance as well.
Yeah, Dawn in a 1v3 situation, looking to go to stairs, but cannot get away fast enough. I thought for certain Daytona State was going to have the momentum to win that, but just in an instant when they popped that window, it was like they're, 3 are just dead.
Yeah.
Good window
not
there
the-
from Nostalgia to blocking that dynamite.
Definitely not the greatest situation.
Kuna with a possible flank tire.
And Tire is destroyed. Oh, we see a flank barrage, but Opposite is able to shut that down.
Ooh, Kuna following up on it though. This is down to whether or not they can take out. Oh, that Bob got taken out. Yeah, Daytona State might have possible advantage here. I'm not sure. Oh, but the tank health matchup is not looking good for Nostalgia.
Nostalgia definitely getting really low here.
Doing good with his shields.
Opposite flank side behind this
Big
guy.
Rock and Big Discord taking out Anakin in just an instant. Ira dying on the off angle, but that will not save them from losing this point.
Definitely Daytona State with really good momentum in 4 minutes to cap, 4.5 minutes to cap this last point. And Admiral is just pushed up with Kuna cleaning up, getting some picks.
Yes, they've been making absolutely amazing time. Just as I said, I mean, that first
Oh
point.
my goodness!
Wow, just
Huge pick from Admiral on Anakin, just taking out that Ramatra.
not quite sure what happened to his form there, but that Discord orb is just doing amazing work
wonders,
here on
yes.
the tank. Kuna looking to possibly trap someone here, hitting some good shots in the BAP. Knowing that Juno is hiding behind, she's forcing her out. Macha looking to push him out of this, but a good trap on Anakin takes him out again.
And
The side of Daytona State is
angle here.
the side of Daytona State with a lot of momentum here.
And it looks like Nostalgia is taking this top angle. Getting poked at just a little bit. But
Kilo wasting his slide, possibly. Oh, regrouping his team smartly there. That could have been bad, knowing Nostalgia's on high ground.
And
Kilo taking out
Kilo
Hira. Good transcendence, saving Kuna there. Kilo getting trapped. This might be his death sentence. Window coming out.
we see Brookdale is tanks here. Anakin is walking them down.
Both tanks dead. I think Brookdale is going to hold this.
We did see a little Juno out, maybe in a bit of a panic, but Brookdale still is able to hold this down and keep Daytona State from capping.
Certainly going to be a detriment to their economy here with Kuna, Admiral, and Nostalgia coming up in their ults. Brookdale does have Bob and Ramatra coming up.
And another Tire just kind of running all around, confusing them. I'm confused, I'm dizzy, I'm sick. And Kira was able to take him out really. Admiral getting one pick with that, but Opposite Opposite able to shut that down. And it looks like Nostalgia using that ult to just walk this part in. Yes, Daytona State is able to take that with 2.5 minutes, which is going to make it a little bit difficult for Brookdale to get their momentum back, but we saw last game, even when they were held in spawn all game, they were able to come back from that. So I believe coming up on this next fight, maybe Brookdale might be more comfortable attacking, but we'll just have to see. and we'll have to see too if there's any swaps made. It didn't seem like it was really like a player character, a character or hero issue. It just seemed like more of Daytona State had that momentum, and ultimately too they had really good ult economy as well. I feel like they were using their ults really smart, positioning really smart. We did see Brookdale able to use some ults that ultimately did save them the round, but for the most part it looks like everybody is staying on a similar character. We do see Philo here on the Pharah, excuse me.
Hello.
Yeah, Nostalgia did an amazing job holding that 3rd point high ground there, and I think Brookdale is going to have to take a page out of their book and control some of this high ground when we get to the later stages of this map.
We do see though that Dawn is still in spawn. It might be a little bit hard for Daytona State because they technically are down one, but they are pushed up super far on this corner, holding a lot of pressure here. They are staying on the hazard while Brookdale is going to be on that Sigma. Here's the opposite here, looking for a pick. Kuna here with the flank, but opposite is trying to shut that down.
Kuna with some good movement and a good orb from Dawn. Still trapped behind though. Kuna not getting too impatient to feed, knowing that there's an Ashe on the enemy team.
Definitely, and is taking into account too the other DPS kind of waiting for
Nostalgia
DPS
getting taken out
him.
though. It looks like Kuna is going to accept his fate to regroup with Nostalgia.
And yes, it looks like as well Brookdale is able to just get a couple of picks and move up the cart, and any remainders from Daytona State are just going to kite. But Hira gets taken out pretty late, as some of Daytona State is already coming back. It looks like Daytona State Nostalgia is going to drop down early here, but I don't think he knows that the Sigma is behind him, waiting for him in this angle. So they're a little bit caught out here. Nostalgia just waiting for his team, able to
Good Discord
cover.
orb on the Sigma though.
And wall down really to try
Another good
to-
Discord orb, almost taking out that Pharah.
Definitely, and we see opposite is getting picks early here, just doing work in the back line. This wall from Nostalgia really shutting down that angle. Dawn is able to get a kill as well, but it can go either way. We just see so much damage being done from opposite on these off angles. And oh my goodness, a really beautiful headshot there. And it looks like Brookdale is going to walk up and use that forward momentum still. They capped with just about the same time as Daytona State.
And Kuna with a swap to the Sojourn. I believe it is time for him to lock in.
No more Jay Silly.
No. I know that he's getting a little sick of the DPS pressure.
We see an all-out here from Daytona State.
Good ult on the Sigma is definitely going to take out this team with a counter ult coming out and forcing Trank.
We do see Trans out, and Philo was able to take out
Wow,
Admiral
catching
here.
Admiral
Philo
off
is
guard
still
with
alive
an
with
amazing
Barrage.
direct
Do
back
we see
to
an
back.
Oh, a close one, but we do see Nostalgia is still alive, kind of fighting here. Is it?
Maintaining good pressure despite being on low HP. He knows he can mitigate with the right click and possibly get out. But this is a risky game. Oh, and there you go. He did in fact get taken out for his
Taken out,
risk.
yes. And again, that stagger is going to make it so hard when this map is just, you're moving forward the whole time, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to say Filo's doing a very, very good job maintaining these surprising angles. I mean, even taking out Admiral on Pharah is
Definitely,
not
and a
easy.
really good ult economy for Brookdale as well.
Going
If they
for
really wanted to, they could
Crazy rock there.
just... It looks like they
Wow.
are going to just secure this point by using the ults that they have. They have such a good ult economy at the time. They were able to use that Juno ult and Bob as well.
Yeah, and despite their issues holding Daytona State and giving them some time, it seems like they're making almost similar time to Daytona State. If they can keep up this pressure, I mean, it's certainly possible for them to have a superior time. It's just a matter of what we see.
Definitely. We do we
Kuna
see
here coming
Daytona
up on his
State, both the
overclock.
DPS coming in with ults here.
Very well could have died there if that rock hit.
Oh, absolutely. Immortality out a little bit early, but Philo able to take out Kuna. Admiral kind of returning the kill on opposite, so they both are even right now, down 1 DPS, but we see Philo might be going for a bit of a flank or an up, or no, just taking it. And on
Getting
the
some
ground
good
down
directs.
here,
Very, very good directs on Dawn. Oh, with a big ult.
big
Getting
ult
taken out,
down.
but in exchange, Nostalgia is down, so I don't think they can really do much. But Kuna looking to prove me wrong with 150 on his overclock.
Kuna doing so much damage, those squishes in the background.
Looking
They're
for
really
opposite,
holding this down.
Unfortunately, looking away during that ult, not knowing that Kuna had his sights on him.
Really nice headshot from Kuna there.
Yeah, that is just such an amazing feeling. Oh,
Another nasty headshot. Kuna
you have
just
that
taking
railgun
it
and
out.
you just know you can predict their movement. Look at his crosshair, how he's...
Oh my goodness.
It's almost like the direction they're looking, he's just tracking their, you know, future image.
Yeah, look where they're headed. Not where they are.
Pretty sure Soldier says that.
Yes. And we see Daytona State pushing up here, trying to take away any progress and hold really tightly here.
Yeah, good poke from both Sigmas, and
Really good poke.
Anakin
And do
using
we
all of
see a
his
Flux coming
cooldowns,
out here?
knowing the rock is done though.
We see Larry
Dawn with an
ult.
amazing dodge.
And
Hear it.
barely living. Do we see here escaping?
Oh my goodness, that jump is
Really
absolutely
good
game-changing.
survivability here from Kira.
Big pick on Anakin there. That was nail-biting.
Really, really good survivability. From
An
Kira.
amazing job. I mean, I know Anakin didn't have success with his ult, but as soon as that rock came out, he knew to pop it, which
Definitely.
is what you should do. And here he is on possibly comfort pick for Matra. Not bad against Sigma. Might have a little more issue holding this high ground, but we'll see how
We
this
see
goes
an
with the
offering
ults.
out on the Juno, but she is in that Immor.
Big support.
Many ults coming out. Kuna is going to use that rail.
Looks like both Sojourns are using their
yeah.
ult
Little,
right now.
oh my
Or-
goodness, taken
never mind.
out.
I think Fila just had a little railgun there.
Many ults used. It looks like they used on Brookdale.
Time is ticking down. Daytona State making this a very, very good fight, and now the prospect of having lower time is definitely gone with just a minute and 10 seconds left for Brookdale.
Definitely. Looks like Brookdale is going to have to start using ults and opposite with some really good picks and Bob to use as well if anything gets hairy, but they did get a little 3 pick here. So
Certainly a good window there. I mean, just vaporizing Daytona State.
absolutely, and Philo is coming up on an ult as well as opposite having Bob. And for Daytona State, they do have window and soon barrage to use for this last push here, but I feel as though Bob is going to be really good for them to use, and Philo taking out Admiral.
Ooh, that was an important pick. Admiral has that ult. Nostalgia looking to live through this, but this is going to be crazy hard.
Definitely, and we see Philo here with the railgun.
Some
trying
good
to-
railgun.
Really good
Dawn
railgun
just barely
usage
living.
there.
That was so close to being the end.
So much going on. This is going to be the last fight
Admiral
for
looking for
Brookdale.
that flank barrage. I see him sneaking up there. He's going for it within moments.
And getting
Oh.
taken out before he's able to use that barrage. It looks like
Maybe
Brookdale
overextending a little bit. This might be an opportunity for Brookdale. Nostalgia with huge pressure. The immortality field
a
coming
lot
out.
of pressure from Anakin here on Brookdale.
Dawn with an ult, but it looks like she's going
And
to die.
Anakin just absolutely clearing out Daytona State with that Ramacha ult, going for... and
Admiral with some counter picks,
Oh my goodness,
absolutely
with
taking
the
them
3K
out.
and Kuna able to get a 4K.
But Anakin looking to put pressure on the card. They could still
Anakin
push
is still
this.
living, and oh, does he get Admiral?
He got Admiral,
out?
but he's on just 40
Just-
HP.
oh my
Brookdale has been
goodness.
taken out by Daytona
Such
State
a close fight.
with an
in the end.
amazing third game there. I mean, in another world, if they won this game, I mean, we're talking about a different sort of outcome here, but here we are with the universe we live in.
This ends
Daytona
now.
State winning 3-0, but not necessarily being the easiest game.
Definitely. I mean, 3-0. I feel like in retrospect, almost it doesn't mean nothing. But usually when you hear like, oh, a team 3-0, it's like it was kind of a hard stomp. But that was really close, especially that left game. I feel like Brookdale was really like almost like locking in. Like I don't know what they talked about in the games prior, or if that was a map advantage for them. But that was a super close. Last point, and it really just came down to the better alt economy, I feel, because Brookdale did have the forward momentum, and if they had a little bit better alt economy, I feel as though they would have won that last game.
Yeah, no, I think they did a good job with what they had. I mean, when they popped that window, it almost seemed like they might have been able to make a play, and then Admiral getting taken out, pushing forward. I almost, you know, expected them to be able to push that, but um, Admiral making it work, even though he died with that ult, he came back and used it to get 3 picks, and Kuna getting an additional pick with just Anakin left on the cart was, really crazy to see, because in my mind it almost seemed like they were just about to make it
Yeah.
3-3. We're going into the next half of this game, but
Yeah,
here we are.
Admiral really came in clutch with that barrage, and Kuna as well with the Sojal at the end. But Anakin, I feel like, was really holding it down on the car, really able to just like play his life and get his picks. And if his team would have come back just like a little bit faster, and Daytona State didn't have the advantage with the alt economy, I definitely could have seen Brookdale
Yeah,
putting
no, I
that into
think
the overtime.
he was maximizing his value. He did what he could. There's a lot of things that went into why a game ended a certain way, but I think
Hmm.
they were definitely doing what they could, playing to their best degree, certainly.
For sure. And with this game, this puts Daytona State at 5-0 for the season, currently undefeated. So that makes me just even more excited to see them progress through the season and them continue.
Yeah, once again, another amazing season for Daytona State. I know we have some tough competition alongside us that we have played before, and I'm sure there's new people coming every season. But looking forward to seeing what we can do after the spring break here. I know
Oh,
we
yes.
have the rest of the season to look forward to, so can't wait.
Yes. And next week, I don't believe there is a game next week because it is spring
Yeah, it's
break,
spring break.
but just gives Daytona State some time to rest, recuperate, train. But so far, we are 5-0, so I'm just excited for the season to
Yeah,
come.
just proud of our players and excited to see what we are going to do for the rest of the season.
Yes, definitely. Um, Great improvement from Admiral, Don, and Hira.
Yeah, Hira doing well. I know that he's been practicing the support role and the Lucio specifically from
Yes.
Nostalgia, so good to see
And
him.
shout out to one of our players, Kuna, getting signed to
Oh
Luminosity
yeah,
for
that was
Marvel Rivals. Yes?
absolutely amazing news, because I know he's
Yes.
worked so hard to improve his esports capabilities. So to see him be on an amazing team like that is just
Yes, so
makes you
very
so happy.
big congratulations to Kuna for being signed. Yay! But thank you so much for tuning into this stream, and we're super excited for the season and super excited to be 5-0. Can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you guys there. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good day.
Thank you.